Well, the Edmonton Oilers lose a close one tonight in Columbus. Final score 6 for Columbus, 1 for the Oilers. I'm being totally facetious as we begin the Oil Stream post-game show brought to you by GCL Diesel. Live on location at Boston Pizza Westgate. Big Uke over there chirping over our shoulder. They are not a happy bunch, those AM Nasties that came out tonight.
They're not.
Everything was good here at BP Westgate except for that game. The Oilers get absolutely destroyed by the Columbus Blue Jackets.
I thought you were going to say everything was good, and then the game started.
Well, basically, it is so bad. Tom Gazzola, Shawn Belle live on location. Hernan Salas, the Latino Heat, he's a little bit picante tonight. He's ready to tee off on this group, and rightly so. GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Lay it on us. Text us 780-218-9999. And then, of course, get in on the Nasty Chat. The Nasty Chat saying, oh, they got a little behind the scenes, a little extra commentary from us with the hot mics. I think everything we said was totally valid.
True.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say this right now on air, too.
I stand by everything I said before the show started. But, all right, Belsey, we're going to begin with the scoring summary as well as the stats from an absolute debacle. And if you're the Columbus Blue Jackets, you're feeling good about what you just did to the Edmonton Oilers on this night. We will have to get to the Connor McDavid situation as well. We begin in the first period. Sean Monahan just 2:18 in, makes it 1-0 Columbus on a Jackets power play. Monahan's his 4th of the season from Marchenko and Werenski on the redirection. 1-0. The Jackets add to the lead. Adam Fantilli's 3rd of the year from Cole Sillinger at 10:44, making it 2-0. Then it would be Cole Sillinger unassisted, making it 3-0 at 14:32. Things looking awful. The Oilers outshoot Columbus 11-6, and they allow 3 goals. Not good. To the second period we go. Matthew Olivier, his 4th of the year, having himself a nice start offensively. One who is not afraid to throw down the fists. James Van Riemsdyk, the assist on Olivier's goal at 7:04. And then we go to the third period. This one well out of hand. The Oilers really had nothing in this game. Just like we knew it would happen. Mikhail Putia gets his first NHL goal from Adam Fantilli. Cole Sillinger, absolutely decrepit defensive effort by the Oilers as Putia buries it into the yawning cage past Stu Skinner at 15:15. And then for good measure, Sean Monahan, his 5th of the year, 2nd of the night, from Chinikov and Marchenko, makes it 6-0 at 16:39. But guess what, Belsey? The Oilers would break the goose egg on the power play.
Nice, yeah.
Matthias Ekholm, his 2nd of the year.
15% now. Very
loud cheer here at Boston Pizza Westgate. Darnell Nurse and Corey Perry picking up the helpers at 19:33. Stat line from this one. Shots on goal, 32-25 in favor of the Oilers. They dominate the faceoff dot, 61.8% to 38.2. The power play, 1 for 6, 16.7%. And the PK goes 3 for 4, leaks another one there. Hits, 19-8 in favor of Columbus. Block shots, 13-9 in favor of Columbus. Giveaways, 17 for Edmonton. 16 for Columbus. Takeaways officially 4 apiece. Let's begin with the big news. Connor McDavid has to leave the game early on. We got a text to all the media right away saying Connor McDavid would not return to the game with a lower body injury. You saw Stoff talking in the intermission. Looked like someone just kicked his dog. That's not a good sign because you know how much Bob, he's tied to the team. He's close with it. He likes to enjoy the good times, and when things aren't good, he wears it. He has a hard time hiding it. Absolutely. Yeah. So that I thought was a bit of an indicator. People noticing that. Someone asked me if that was a trip on that play. I just think Connor went down and then unfortunately got his foot jammed up in the boards.
Yeah, just in the boards. I mean, unfortunate play. You never want to see your captain go down. You never want to see your, ultimately your best player. However, now we sit here and we say, okay, can this help the Oilers? And what do I mean by that?
Yeah,
it's going to force people to actually have to play. Because now we can't sit here and just constantly rely on Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl to get things done. It's going to now have to take an effort from the entire team. And unfortunately, we talked about it in the pregame where the kind of big boys, well, they haven't really done anything.
You pointed that out.
They have to start getting going, and having a guy like Connor McDavid out for potentially, keyword potentially, an extended period of time, it's going to force other guys to play. And if they can start to get closer to, a full team game, a full 60-minute, and then you reinsert Connor McDavid, well, now maybe the team's flying. But right now, obviously, we're hoping that it's not a long break or an absence.
Right.
But, I'm curious to see how the team's going to respond to it.
Obviously, when he leaves like that and they announce right away that he isn't coming back, cause for concern.
100%.
We'll wait till there's further testing. But that's going to lead us to the turning point of the game presented by Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy, because I do want to get Hernan in here right away. And at Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy, we treat you like the pros. Our multidisciplinary team includes sports medicine physicians, along with highly skilled physiotherapists, strength and conditioning coaches, and massage therapists. Whether you're recovering from an injury or looking to enhance performance, we treat you like a pro using the same locker room approach trusted by the best in the game. Connor McDavid could use Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy with that injury.
Yep.
I'm not going to put that as the turning point of the game.
The puck drop was.
Well, I didn't want to be that grim about it. I was going to say at 2:18, Sean Monahan's power play goal. The Oilers had nothing. And then add insult to injury, literally, McDavid gets hurt, and then the Jackets just storm all over them and destroy them on the scoreboard. And I know the Oilers had more shots than Columbus, but I think that was deceptive because every time Columbus was in the Oilers zone, they were threatening. Every time the Oilers were in Columbus's zone, even though they got those shots, I didn't think that the Oilers
there was never a threat.
Were scary at all to Columbus.
I don't ever want to be a person that's going to sit here and just absolutely destroy the team, eviscerate the team. Because, hey, they're playing in the best league in the world. And, well, unfortunately today, the game was not good. And
they're bad,
we have
man.
to sit here and we have to be, we have to do our jobs and we have to say what it is. And unfortunately, the minute they dropped the puck, it was over. It wasn't a good effort. It was gross effort. And we all sat here in the room and it was like, well.
You knew right away they didn't have anything.
Right away. And every single time,
I gave them 2 minutes and 18 seconds of grace.
Well, you're being really nice, man.
I want to hear what Hernan has to say. That's your turning point. It was the Sean Monahan goal. I'm being nice. I'm not saying it was the opening face-off. They had no juice tonight, Nancy.
Nothing.
Hey, guys, I just want to update. Ryan Rishaug did report on Twitter that he said he tweeted this out about an hour ago. He says early word out of Columbus is that it's nothing too serious with McDavid at this point. So for all the fans out there, take it with a grain of salt, I guess. I'm sure he's not putting that out there without having some good sources. So that's, I guess, a positive for the Edmonton Oilers. All
right.
I mean, it could be a game or two or whatever, but according to Ryan Rishaug from TSN, the word out of Columbus, it's nothing too serious for the Edmonton Oilers. But boys, it's we were watching the first two periods together and it was a rough one. They can't get a kill when it matters. They can't score a power play goal when it matters. I mean, McDavid injured or not, guys, I know he got injured on the first shift, but this team was going to lose 6-1 regardless because they just didn't have it. No jam from this team. I can't put my finger on it, guys, and I know we're all at a loss for words when how can a team that went and was so damn close to winning it all can be this bad? Because Columbus, I'll tell you this, they're not a very good team, and they made the Oilers look really, really bad tonight. Like, really bad tonight. You can't be down 3 goals on 6 shots. You can't be down 4 goals on 10 shots. It doesn't matter who it is. You cannot be down by that much, and I'm not putting this all on Stuart Skinner, but now I understand why so many people on the Nasty Chat and on the inbox get upset with Stuart Skinner because he's so damn inconsistent. This team can't score, guys. Like, they can't, and it's becoming a huge concern, and I'm telling you, and I've been saying this since the season started, things are not going to go the same as last year, guys. They're not going to go on a 16-game heater. There's not a coaching change coming. They got to figure this out, and we talked to Bells, we talked to Cass, we talked to Gager, guys that have been at that level, who have been in rooms like that. I just can't believe that this team is in this situation again. And you know what, guys?
Well, they're 4-5-1.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Hernan.
But it's not good enough. It's not good enough for a team that's supposed to be contending for a Stanley Cup. It's not good enough. And sorry, Tom, I just lost my train of thought there because I'm getting
Don't be
fired.
sorry.
No,
be Hernan, the Latino Heat.
But I just can't believe that they're in this situation again. And you know what, guys? Maybe McDavid missing 2, 3, 4 games is the best thing for this team because Kris Knoblauch's not going to be able to go nuclear. He's going to have to figure something else out. And a lot of guys on this team and a lot of important guys that make a ton of money are going to have to start showing up here if McDavid's gone for some significant time or whatever it is, because this is flat out, guys. This was embarrassing. And if post-game none of these guys have any piss and vinegar, I'm going to be pissed. Because you know what? You shouldn't be happy after this game and stop making excuses or captain, blah, blah, blah. And, you should be embarrassed. I want to hear what they have to say post-game. That's going to say a lot about this team.
We've always seen the Oilers, they never go hard until they're forced to. And
sadly,
you can't constantly go back to that well. You having the ability to do that is great once in a while when you need to battle
dig
back
one out.
You
dig one out every now and then, not every single night.
Every single night, it's the same thing over and over again. And you just, I've said openly, I'm not a fan because I played for the team, I played for other teams. I just love hockey. But the reality is being here in the city of Edmonton, man, I understand it.
Yes.
I understand why fans lose their mind.
That's why I say, why can't they have nice things?
Yeah, like right now, I want to lose my mind. And it's simply because, you show up for this game and you don't even want to be there. You don't even want to skate. There were so many clips where guys were getting beat up the ice. They were getting beat back. They refused to go to the net. They were doing so many things where it's like, guys, you guys are in the NHL. You're in the NHL. How can you not do these things?
I understand this, and obviously we need to discuss it, and we're going to get to a lot of texts coming up right away here. Nasty chat or our inbox, 780-218-9999. I've been on the road with an NHL team for 8 years. You played in the NHL. Nat, so you've been with a pro team as part of the Elks over the last 3 years. Might I suggest, just for 1 second, I want to hear what you think, Nanso and Belzy, that these guys had their heads and their hearts in Nashville already instead of focused on Columbus.
I'll tell you this, Tommy, and I'll let Belzy go after me. If that's the case, then this team's got way more problems because a veteran team, the oldest team in the league, a team that's supposed to be competing for a Stanley Cup, who's one win away from it last year, and that's what their mind is on?
I'm asking,
man.
I'm not saying I am asking because that was a piss poor performance.
Top
to bottom, McDavid or not.
They should be all humiliated. And if they go out, good on them. Do your thing, man. But
Absolutely.
Then you're gonna go into Nashville and get your butt kicked again.
But go earn it. Go earn the green light because they have tomorrow off. But go earn the time off and the fun.
The reality is that this is what NHL teams do. They go out, they have fun at night, and then they show up and they play. Everybody does. But the problem is, and I agree with you, Hernan, is that this is a veteran team. Regardless if you decided to go have fun last night, whether you're going to go have fun tomorrow night or tonight, or whatever that looks like, you are a veteran hockey team. You're a team that says all the right things in the sense that, we want to be back in the Stanley Cup. We're pissed off about last year. Oh, wait, no, don't talk about last year because, it's a new year and we're trying to do things. We're a contender. You bring in all these other guys that are supposed to strengthen your lineup and make your team better. But if that's the mentality, there is a deeper issue. Because teams that want to win a Stanley Cup, teams that have the right mindset, sure, you'll go out. But you'll go beat the brakes off the Columbus Blue Jackets on the Monday night in Columbus.
I want it to be that way.
Decade of darkness. Hey, it's a Monday night in Columbus. Let's try to get out of here as quickly as we can because we're about to take a beating and we just want to get into the beers. If we're going to have that conversation, let's have that conversation. But the reality is, it's your veteran hockey team. I don't care if you party. Really don't.
Yeah.
But you make sure that you bring it.
Go win it and go earn that
100%.
celebration.
Gents, I got another update here. Just reported Rishog said it seemed like it wasn't nothing too serious, but head coach Kris Knoblauch did say following the game that McDavid is traveling back to Edmonton to get evaluated after leaving tonight's game with a lower body injury. So if he's coming home, it's probably longer than...
It's bad.
It's bad, yeah.
That's bad. That's a bad sign. Anytime you have to leave is not a good sign. So there you go. The latest update from Kris Knoblauch. Connor McDavid headed back to Edmonton after his lower body injury. Left foot, it looked like. I'm no doctor. Belsey plays one on TV, but that's our assessment. But I'm sorry. I'm trying to crack a joke when Oiler fans aren't happy. Let's get into some of the texts because there's a lot of them coming in. Nasty Chat, keep doing your thing. Text line 780-218-9999. Let's start with Shaggy in St. Albert. Shaggy in St. Albert, he brings it and has a really high expectancy for this group. So I'm curious to hear what Shaggy has to say. Shaggy says, I first hope Connor McDavid's okay. Oilers showed no heart or desperation after they knew McDavid was not coming back. They failed their first test. Only question was if it was going to be a shutout or not. It might be good long-term if McDavid is out for 10 games. Maybe they will actually have to play with heart and desperation without their security blanket. Adapt or perish. If they fall apart during that time, then this team does not deserve to be in the playoffs. When I watch the Flames with inferior talent, win or lose, they work hard and don't give up. Oilers show none of that for most of their games, and we're 10 games into the season. Shaggy, thank you for the text. Well said. Liquid Beaver says there are no words to describe what we just witnessed. There is absolutely nobody who could polish that turd that the Oilers dumped on the ice. Hope 97 is okay. Ken texting in says, Tommy, please ask Belsey two things. One, why did Coach K leave Skinner in after the fourth goal on 10 shots? Switch to Pickard may have woken the team. Two, why was Arvidsson instead of Jay Skinner inserted on McDavid's replacement on the power play? Skinner has more goals than Arvidsson, Nuge, and Hyman. Belsey, number one, why did Knoblauch leave Stewart in after the fourth goal on 10 shots? And then number two, why was Arvidsson placed in McDavid's spot instead of Jeff Skinner on the power play?
Number one, why have two goaltenders with sunburn when you only have one?
Jeez.
Well, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
You can tell things with coaches. When you're standing behind the bench, you know what your team looks like.
Yeah.
You know the pulse of your team. And for Knoblauch, he probably was like, you know what, this team doesn't really have much today. So why put Pickard in? Because at that point it was done. As soon as you lost McDavid, you could see the bench sag.
And they didn't have any jam with him on
100%.
the bench for a couple minutes he was there.
So you're sitting there and it's, what are you supposed to do? You put Pickard in, it doesn't really matter. He's going to get torched anyway because, unfortunately, the Oilers' game just wasn't there. And I get it. We're all going to sit here and be like, Skinner wasn't good enough. But the reality is that the whole team wasn't good enough. There's chances that should never have been allowed to get into net. Case in point, Monahan's last goal. It goes off the wall. Everybody's puck watching. Monahan stands there and he just taps it in. And by the time they even remotely got there, it was too late. And Emerson's standing right next to Monahan.
Yeah.
You go back to, I think, the second goal, and it's the guys in the high slot, and they're late getting there. And it's a grade A scoring chance. And every coach across minor hockey to the NHL says eliminate the grade A scoring chances. So what do? We're going to leave them open for a grade A scoring chance, and we're surprised it goes in the net.
The slot was so soft in front of the Oilers.
Look at Emberson on that goal Belsey's talking about. Just watch Emberson. And it's hard to be tough on a guy who's playing his 36th game, whatever it is. But that was brutal. And guys, let's look at the power play. Yeah, they scored a late one. Sure. They were 1 for 6. You know how many 2-on-1s for Columbus there was on the Oilers power play? 4. That's a team that's disinterested. And you guys brought up, Connor McDavid got hurt on the first shift, guys. They had 58 minutes plus to stand up and be 100%. Like, we're going to do this one for our captain. We're going to show up. Instead, they went the opposite way and say, we're going to mail it in. We're going to get ready to go to Nashville, party it up a bit, and then we'll see what happens in the game. Like, Of course, we're assuming. We don't know that. But this team showed nothing when their captain went down. Absolutely nothing. Another point. Skinner took a stick to the face. I don't know if it was Bells or Gager who said it. And it wasn't dirty, but it's a play where it should have created a response. Not one Oiler player cared. They all just skated off the damn ice. That shows you that this team is not engaged.
Trying to, because they were all trying to line up for the power play. And it's like, guys, your teammate just got high stick in the face. And whether it was, on purpose or by accident, the fact is it was a really vicious fall through. I guess vicious is maybe a little bit too much of a word, but it was a substantial fall through.
Yeah.
And not even one cross check, just to be like, hey man, figure it out. But here we are. And it's just like, what is going on here? We can't continuously go back to this well of well, just whatever. It's another game. So I can't wait to hear what the presser looks like, what the guys have to say in the room, because holy man, how do you, we'll just move on. Okay, great. We're going to move on. We got to figure something out here.
It didn't work tonight. The Oilers fall 6-1. Go ahead.
Do you guys agree that this is the one game where it's not okay? I don't want to hear the coach say, well, we just got to regroup. And it's not okay what's going on, guys. I don't care if they're 4-5-1. I don't care that they're one game under 500 and beat Pittsburgh and Detroit. There should be some angst in that room tonight. This is not good enough. It's not acceptable.
They wasted that excuse when they lost to Calgary, when they lost to... I don't care if Calgary got off to a good start. They wasted that excuse when they lost to the Flames and the Blackhawks. No bueno, man. You can't use that tonight against the Columbus Blue Jackets, and they barely got out of Detroit yesterday. I thought maybe they were just a little bit sleepy last night. I was giving them the benefit of the doubt, but they go and they lay an absolute stinker tonight. That's 100% on them, yes.
Can I just bring up one point? Because I keep seeing in the nasty chat that it's zero defense, zero goaltending. But we're trying to say the point is that they're all bad. Their goals for right now is 30th in the league. Their PK is 32nd in the league. Their power play is 27th in the league. And their goals against is 17th.
There's one thing on there that's modestly okay, and it's the goals against. And I think... I said it with Joaquin earlier on the Oil Stream this afternoon. I think their goaltending has been one of their strong points.
Before you say that.
Well, no, I stand by it. I don't care if Oiler fans go on the LRT and yell Skinner sucks after he stands on his head and then they lose an OT and it's not his fault. That's just silly. And then he goes and gets the shutout the next game. Was he bad tonight? Uh-huh. But the guys in front of him stunk just as much. They all did. They were all bad tonight. Yes, I looked at Joaquin after, I think, the second goal or third goal, and I was like, Gager, what the hell is going on? And he goes, well, I'm like, was that Stu? And he goes, I don't like his reaction. He was slow paying attention. He was like, oh, my God, that went in. There was a shot. That's a bad sign. But the fact that the team was super soft in front of him, lethargic in a lot of aspects of the game, it was bad from top to bottom, goalie to 13th, 12th forward, because they don't have 13 forwards. They have 11 forwards now with McDavid being injured. So everybody was bad tonight. There's no polishing, as one of the texters brought up earlier, no polishing that turd tonight. No way. There's no aspect of that game that you go, well, at least they did that. That power play goal, they got a cheer in jest from everybody here at BP. Westgate, 170th Street, 90th Avenue. In jest when they got that power play goal.
Yep.
Text us, 780-218-9999. Hontorio Momes says 29 needs to go Super Saiyan. Bouchard and Eck need to play playoff level. Stu needs to get off the Ferris wheel of performance. If it's a long-term injury, does Bowman pull the trigger on that D as soon as possible? Peter says also Emerson got exposed tonight. Does Evan Bouchard's contract changes off season if he has a bad year offensively, or is his number pretty much already set? It's not set, Peter. Emerson is in, like Hernan said, game 36, 37 of his career. Go ahead.
Unfortunately, there's no calling out any one particular player. The whole team was not there today.
Yeah.
That's what it is. We get into this habit where we want to call out one person because it's that person's fault. Nurse's fault today because he did one thing bad, or it's Skinner's fault, or it's Picard's fault, or it's Hyman's fault. The whole team was bad.
Yes.
End of story. That's what it was today. It was a stinker across the board.
But that's why I asked about getting ahead of themselves.
Stop trying to pick one guy out and be like, that guy's issue. No, the whole team was the issue today.
Yeah.
Everybody. Hernan, did I say it to you where I was like, what's going on with Bouchard?
Yeah. Well,
and then we got into that conversation.
And we brought this up yesterday with Cass where like he's just coasting out there and he gets forgiven, I think, a lot because of what he brings offensively. And he turns it on towards the end of the season and into the playoffs. He becomes a solid defenseman. But right now, I'm with Bellsy, and I agree. Like, you have to live with it because he has a lot of good, but like in early October, early November, this guy is just coasting out there. Nonchalant. There's no urgency to this game. And I get that might be his demeanor, might be his personality. That's the way he just is. But, man, this team needs more from him. And listen, I'm not sitting here, and I'm going to say this because last time I said something about Bouchard, I got attacked about that I defend Darnell Nurse. I do not. I think this whole D-core needs to step it up, guys. I think, and like Bellsy said, I have to pick player of the game. I don't know who the hell I'm going to pick tonight because they were all terrible.
DBE, at least, Hernan says, yes, Latino Heat, so he's with you. Conroe, Texas, texting in says, Conroe, Texas will just leave this year without comment. Guys who left, 12 goals, 7 assists, 19 points. New guys, 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points, all in 3 games. Coach Mike says, what do you do with the defense? Can't really change the pairings much. Bellsy, you're a coach, you're a GM, albeit in a different league and with kids, but you have the best experience out of anybody here.
There's nothing that the coach can do at this point. It's in the room to figure it out. I feel like there's been GMs and there's been coaches that have come out and said that, and it's, hey, we're not making a trade to save you.
And they're not making a trade after like one bad loss.
Yeah, but what are you going to get? Go get a $10 million defenseman? That's not happening.
They've got one.
So here we are. Like, the team needs to figure out. The players need to figure it out.
I made a grimace face after. If you're listening,
but yeah, the players have to figure it out. It's in the locker room. They have to be the ones that have got to solve the issue. They've got to come every night. They've got to figure it out every night. And unfortunately, right now, it's not that way.
No.
So the coach can tinker with the lineup. They can, move guys up to different spots, and reality speaks to it as well. At some point, the guys in the locker room have to start to play.
Definitely didn't tonight.
And guys, this is not a coaching thing. Like, come on. Like, after the Stanley Cup playoffs, Kris Knoblauch could do no wrong in this city. Now, after 10 games, it's all of a sudden coach. It's not coaching. And the reality is, guys, the Skinner's inconsistent. Yeah, he's great at times, sure. Pickett's been fine. The defense is not a good core. It's not. It's not a good group.
We know this. We've known this.
Yes, and
it's not news.
And up front, yes, Hyman still to find the net. Connor Brown today went in all alone. He's got to start finishing. Sorry, you can play as good as you want and skate around as much as you want, but until you start producing, this team is. And everybody says it's going to come. Well, we're 10 games in. Like, how much longer do you have to wait? And now McDavid's going to be out. You're going to call up Noah Philp or whoever. I don't know who you call up, guys. But to me, I'm sorry, and there's no disrespect to these players. They're not going to make a difference. Like, they're not going to lead this team to wins. They might help. They'll be a small part of it. But Noah Philp's not going to come in here and turn this team around, guys. Let's be real.
No, that would be totally beyond. Don't expect that from him. That's unreasonable expectation from Noah Philp, especially a guy who's never played a full NHL game, let alone regular season. I mean, give him credit for what he did in the preseason, but it's way different. We all know that.
Yeah.
Okay, there was a couple of texts in the nasty chat that I saw that I kind of chuckled at. One of them, I think, was from JL, and it said that I want to get to that one first. I think it was JL who said that Travis Dermott is the player of the game.
Oh, boy.
I know. I'm just trying to ease the tension here a little bit. And then there's a follow-up. Reaper
Tommy.
one what?
One time back at the old station, we were doing an Elks post game. I had to pick the player of the game. I picked the holder because there's no one to pick in that game, man. So
that's a solid pick, though.
I'm looking for the holder tonight for the Oilers. Who's that?
Well, we have a couple of suggestions in the nasty chat. Reaper 1XXX says Kulak second pairing, right D is the only thing left. Listen, that's like reasonable, but the goal is to have three solid pairs.
Putting lipstick on a pig, Tommy.
That's polishing a turd lipstick on a pig.
Yeah.
But like, I understand that. But then, are you even playing your third pair?
But you're probably not. And Kulak is a perfectly slotted fifth defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
Perfectly slotted. So why change him and try to give him more minutes, and then all of a sudden put him in a situation where he's got to play against some of the elite talent? We've seen what that's happened. For lots of different defensemen. We blamed Cody Ceci for how many years when he was played with Nurse, when they played against elite talent and he wasn't good enough. Now all of a sudden we're like, oh man, Cody Ceci looks pretty good. That would be this exact same thing to do to Kulak.
Yeah, I understand that. I just want to see what you thought about it. Well said. Yeah. Well said. Tom Gazzola, Shawn Belle on location. Hudson's, or no, we're not at Hudson's until later in November. That's our next on location. White Avenue on November 21st. Today, we are at Boston Pizza Westgate. They have the $20 per hour golf sim, best rate in the city. And then on Halloween from 3 to 6, they have their kids' Halloween party. Lots of great prizes, face painting. They've got their ghost treats and their fuzzy worm slushy as well. Come on down to Boston Pizza Westgate. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. The Oilers get smacked around by the mighty Columbus Blue Jackets tonight, 6-1, and fall to 1-1 on this road trip. This text says, Belzy and Hernan are gold tonight. Brandon from Windsor texting in says, send down Dermott and Ryan, call up Philp and Kajula. Let's try this. I know you're laughing. I know you're laughing. Okay, Oilers fans want to help this team. They look for solutions.
I love you, Oilers fans.
I know, but if you were to do that, what do you get from Philp and Kajula instead of Dermott and Ryan? And
nothing.
Be honest.
Nothing.
And I'm not trying to put Brandon from Windsor
down. Once again, I'm not trying to put anyone down.
No.
I'm not trying to eviscerate the Oilers because they play in the NHL and they're in the best league in the world. But you've got guys that are playing in the minors for a reason. You got guys playing in the NHL for a reason. Bringing up Kajula is going to do what? Who's he going to replace?
I guess, okay, in a perfect world, it provides a spark. That would be the best case scenario.
But what spark is he going to
Whatever he gets in his 9 minutes that he plays.
You think that guy's going to play 9 minutes?
Maybe. I said in a perfect.
Dude, let me throw something
best
at you.
Best case scenario.
I played with Minnesota one game, and I thought I was having a great game. I played 1 minute and 45 seconds.
For what team?
Minnesota.
Oh, for the Wild.
Jacques Lemaire.
Okay.
I thought it was great, that game. Played 1 minute and 45 seconds. That's probably what's going to happen to Drake Kajula.
If he were to get called up.
Yeah.
If Leon Draisaitl, Nugent, Nurse, and Skinner and all these guys need Drake Kajula to get them going, like it's. And Tom, I know what you're trying to say. I totally understand.
I'm just like, let's try this.
You're being a great dude about it. But like, that's not the answer. It's in the locker room, and that's what it has to be. And we can find all these different answers, and we can do this, and we can do that, and we can make this hypothetical trade. Those things aren't happening. There's nobody coming to save this team.
They played a great game 4 nights ago.
4 nights ago, yeah.
Against an equally as bad team in Pittsburgh.
Yep. Yeah, that's fair.
So I understand the argument of it's in the room, and I agree with you. I just wanted to, because Oilers fans care about this team, want to help by providing solutions. And Brandon from Windsor, I didn't mean to like single you out or anything. Your text popped up, and there's other ones that are similar to that.
I love the suggestion, Brandon from Windsor. I really do. But you look at this team, and let's pause all the hatred for 2 seconds. On paper, this team should be an elite hockey team.
Mm-hmm.
Should be an elite hockey team.
Underscore that.
This team should be a team that is pissed off for losing in the Stanley Cup Finals. They should be very easily motivated to play the best hockey they possibly can. And right now, for whatever odd reason, they are not motivated at all. And whether that is as simple as we are still in the Stanley Cup hangover.
I hate that now. We're 10 games in.
Whether that's the arrogance of look at our roster and how deep this roster is and all the guys that can score goals. And if Jeff Skinner plays with the right guys, he's going to score 30-something goals. And Arvidsson's going to instantly be a 30 goal guy because he's playing with Leon Draisaitl. That stuff doesn't matter if you don't want to work. And the problem right now for the Oilers is that they're not working. They're a very skilled hockey team. And yeah, they might be older team, the oldest team in the league. They might be, a tad slower than other players or other teams, but they have elite level skill on paper. And at some point, they've got to now decide, you know what, guys, we got to go to work, because when they go to work, we've seen exactly what they can do.
Be an elite level team.
An elite level team. And when they play the right way, well, that team is legit.
And Belle,
that's the one we saw tonight. That's for damn sure.
We brought it up in the pregame and I think Tommy and I talked about this last night, where this team sometimes they wait to see what kind of game they got to play. And today,
and I hate that. That's a bad sign.
It's a horrible sign. And Belsey said it. He goes, the game was over when they dropped the puck. It seems like the Oilers, no matter what was going to happen tonight, they weren't going to compete. They weren't going to be in there, and they weren't going to work their butts off as hard as Columbus did. Because think about this. Columbus didn't dominate them. They didn't. It wasn't all Columbus in this game outside of the score. The Oilers outshot them by a large margin for most of this game. The Oilers had 6 damn power play guys, and they lost 6-1. That goes to show you this team had no interest in competing tonight. And that's a big concern for a team, because look at Florida. They lost to Vegas, right, 2 years ago. They got their butts kicked in the final. What did they do last year? Do you think they started like this? Look at them this year.
They went post to post, one of the best teams in the league, and then won the cup.
And this year, they could probably lay back and no one would blink an eye, because, hey, they won. They went to 2 straight Stanley Cup finals, and they come out and they're 6-3, 7-3. They're not taking anything for granted. Where the Oilers, where everybody and their dog in the media world picked them to win the Stanley Cup, they think they can just show up and outskill guys and win. And time and time again, guys, they know that doesn't work. And there's no coaching change coming. There's no trade coming. And there's no one from the minors that's going to make an impact here. So it's time for the big boys, like we talked about in the pregame, to start looking in the mirror.
By the way, those Florida Panthers that you were just talking about, Hernan, have rattled off 3 straight wins. They beat the Buffalo Sabres 5-2, playing a weaker opponent on paper and taking care of business in Buffalo tonight. Go out there and beat them. I don't know. In a perfect world, Belsey, if I was a member of the Edmonton Oilers, I would look at tonight and be like, okay, feeling good. Flying to Nashville tonight. Let's beat Columbus, because we know we have a good team. We just won a game yesterday, kind of snuck it out. But let's go earn this, and then let's go have the best night of our lives in Nashville. Rest up the day after. Good work day the next day at practice, and then the day after that, go and face the Nashville Predators, get another win against them, keep the good times rolling.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
Yeah. Man, I hate feeling good about myself, because that's what it should be.
It should be that way.
Right? Like, you didn't start well in Detroit. You ended up winning the game. Awesome, because you started to work and you outcompeted them. Okay, so bring that over to the next game. Do you even work? Honestly, I feel so strongly about the Oilers that even if they gave 75% effort today, they probably would have won that game.
Fair.
That's how I feel about the Oilers roster. So if you would have went out and gave 75% of an effort, which I don't think is asking for a lot, they would have won. Oh, we feel we got a 2-gamer going here, 3-gamer. You go into Nashville, you have a great time. Nashville's a wicked city.
Yes.
You play guilty. That's 4 in a row. Now here comes a streak.
You get the Battle of Alberta on Saturday.
Battle of Alberta. Oh, man, that would have been great.
Not the case. They get absolutely smoked in Columbus 6-1. I know that they haven't been playing good in Columbus and against the Jackets over the last few years. They have not won in CBJ or at CBJ since 2019. Let's get to a couple more texts here before we get to the player of the game. Nanso, good luck with that one. 780-218-9999. Nasty chat has been, I've been watching it on your side, Belsey, and it's buzzing pretty good. I'm laughing at some of the stuff that's coming in. And a bunch of the other texts and comments that are coming in too are just, they hit hard and they're relevant, and then they cut and they're on point. So well done tonight, everybody watching and listening on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. The Kilted Zombie says, Shawn Belle, you ready to lace up for the oil again? I heard your knee is a little rusty.
Buddy, I would lace up for the oil. It would take me one shift.
Yeah.
and then I'd be retired again. But man, that one shift would be entertainment.
It would be glorious.
That's all I got left in the tank.
Yeah.
But man, would that be a wicked shift.
The Kilted Zombie. Great name, great question. Okay, let's go to Dirty Curdy. Not as fun and lighthearted tone here from Dirty Curdy. Flat out embarrassing effort, says Dirty Curdy. Defensively exposed. Couldn't dig in after Connor injury. Specialty teams belong on the back of a milk carton, and Skinner, when bad, looks Jack Shambles like far too inconsistent. Oilers bullied all over the ice. Where is this team's soul? Start Pickard in Music City. How does this team defend better when Pickard is in net? Dirty Curdy. You want to touch on anything there, or should I move on?
Move on.
Okay, let's go to Roland now, who says, July 1st, management had A-plus grade for the offseason. 4 months later, what grade would you give them? Nanso, you start.
Give a grade to, sorry, who?
Management team compared to July 1st.
Oh. I mean, what am I
that's a good one. I mean, what a pickle.
Like compared to now is what you're saying. Like right now.
That's what Roland asked. Say but July 1st, hard. Everybody gave them an A+. Here we are watching them 4-5-1 get smoked by the Columbus Blue Jackets, for crying out loud.
But to Roland,
losing the best player in the world.
But to Roland, like, how many teams make big moves in October? Like, it's really hard. And keep in mind, Stan Bowman wasn't part of the offer sheets. Now, he could have re-upped them and all that. Don't get me wrong, but
listen, we have to remind ourselves, it's Jeff Jackson and Stan Bowman. It's not like Stan Bowman is the sole guy. Those two work as a tandem.
I tell Roland we almost have to wait and see, because, like I said, you're not like the Oilers are not going out and getting a top 4 defenseman in this week, right? Like, that's so unrealistic. No. It's not going to happen. So it's hard to say. I honestly, guys, I think the guy they miss is Evander Kane. And people might not like him, and people might say this.
People like him.
But Evander Kane brings something this team doesn't have. No one has it.
I agree with you.
I think they're missing snarl.
That type of game that he plays, that Kane does when he's dialed in and healthy. Absolutely.
And they need way more of it. Corey Perry, Corey Perry doing what he does at his age is awesome, and it's beautiful to see. But unfortunately, you need some other guys to do that. And you look at all these different teams across the National Hockey League, they're big, they can skate, they're physical. That's actually what the formula is right now. So usually what they say is that the NHL is a copycat league, right?
Yeah.
So everybody should be trying to emulate what the Florida Panthers are. They're big, they're skilled, they're fast.
And they play like a-holes.
And exactly what they do. I mean, Paul Maurice literally says, we're going to destroy their D, and so that we can wear teams down. So they haven't shifted to the way that the Oilers are trying to play hockey, where they can go no-hitters.
Mm-hmm.
The NHL for the longest time, and even still to this day, as much as we all sit here and say the game has changed, there's still intimidation in the game.
Yes.
There's still a need for truculence in the game.
Yes.
To steal a line from Brian Burke. And unfortunately, the Oil do not have enough of it.
They don't have much at all.
They need Evander Kane. I think they need to bring him back in the lineup. But the thing they need is they need snarl.
Snarl. I like that. 780-218-9999, the GCL Diesel Oil Stream postgame show, live on location at Boston Pizza, Westgate, 170th Street, 90th Avenue. Great crew down here. Lots of fantastic prize giveaways, some GCs as well. Shout out to everyone who came out, especially the Nasties. And we're going to be doing it all over again in November a couple of times. All right, let's get to the next portion of the show. We have a lot of text to get to. We will get to some audio from the Oilers locker room following their loss. 6-1, they fall tonight to the Columbus Blue Jackets. If you're just tuning in, you missed it. Yeah, they got their asses kicked because they played like absolute dog from the face-off, for sakes. I love that button on the board. Let's go to the Damon Bunting, a RE/MAX Elite Player of the Game. Damon Bunting, consistent top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among Western Canadian RE/MAX realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. He's community-driven, understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. So check him out, DamonBunting.com. Visit his Instagram page at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Unlike the Oilers, Damon Bunting does not take a night off. Hernan Salas, take it away, Latino Heat.
Yeah, I know you guys going to think I'm joking, but this is as serious as I can get. No one played well on this one. The player of the game is Connor McDavid for his 37 seconds. Went out there for a nice twirl. And, I mean, who else are you going to give it to? Let me see. If we're going to be serious.
Give us the numbers. Give us some stats here.
Okay. Let's
give me the
go.
best candidates.
Matthias Ekholm, -3. Brett Kulak, Ty Emberson, -2. Stetcher, the only one that wasn't a minus, so he's in the running. Let's go with Stetcher. Troy Stetcher. He was the only player on the D-core that wasn't a minus, 13-16. He had 2 shots. He had 1 block, 1 hit. Is that fair?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Because up front, no one really stood out. No one.
Because they were absolutely dog.
So let's give it to Troy Stetcher, followed closely by Connor McDavid because he only was there for 37 seconds of this debacle in Columbus, which now is 4 straight guys they've lost there in 5 out of their last 6.
Do you think they could forfeit games in Columbus moving forward? Just be like, you know what? The plane can't land. We're just going to keep moving to the next
3-0.
How does a guy like Mikhail Putia get his first career goal for crying out loud?
He wouldn't be able to. Pick a different team. Pick a different team.
Good thing we learned his name.
No, I had to go to the NHL pronunciation guide for that one. Mikhail Putia scoring his first NHL goal on an indifferent back check from the Oilers. Very soft in the middle of the ice and slow-moving Stuart Skinner on the one-timer that just kind of rolled nicely into the net. 780-218-9999. Nasty chat, keep doing your thing. You guys are nasty tonight. I like it. Hersey texting in says they have nothing to give up to get a D-man. Like, this team is what this team is. They're all in plus some people. Who can they trade now?
Nice.
Yeah. I like this one. Go ahead.
That's a great point. I mean, who are you moving? Most of the team has a no trade clause. The guys that actual other teams would actually want.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, the pipeline's not very good. It's not very sexy. So this is, if the Oilers are going to get out of this, it's the guys here right now.
Yes.
Maybe 2 or 3 guys from Bakersfield, but that's about it.
Like Drake Caggiula and Noah Philp.
Drake Caggiula, eh?
See what I did there? Went back to earlier in the
who's
show.
the call-up, guys? Who's the call-up? Noah Philp? That obvious?
Savoy.
Ooh.
Yeah, but you need a centerman now.
Savoy can play center.
Well, you can move Nugent,
would you
right?
put? Yeah, you could move Nugent-Hopkins. That's true.
Would you put Nugent-Hopkins right now at center and go? Well, I guess you're not.
Let's take a look at. Let's just go over what the Condors have done early in the season to get an idea of what the story looks like. Caggiula leads the team down at Bakersfield with 2 goals, 3 assists. Seth Griffith, who has seen minimal time with the big club, has 4 points. Matt Savoy does have 4 points, a goal, and 3 assists through 6 games. Noah Philp does have 3 points through 6 games, 2 goals, and an assist. And then you've got Grub at 3 assists, Connor Carrick with 2 points, 1 goal, 1 assist, Ben Gleason, a goal and an assist. Matt Petrov, same thing. So it doesn't seem like they're scoring a ton down in Baco either. But Caggiula, the early leader for the Bakersfield Condors. Savoy off to a good start, 4 points in 6 games with a +4. The +4 leads the Condors in that category. So in knowing what we have just gone over, who would be your call-up when they call somebody up?
Philp.
Go on.
That's it.
And then what? Like, just what happens with the rest of the forward unit?
Well, you're probably, based on their stature within the lineup, you're probably got Philp coming in because he had the best training camp, and they view him as more or less NHL ready for a bottom 6 role. Then you're probably looking at Savoy, the next guy, because he's a player that you traded Ryan McLeod for.
Right.
So obviously there's value there. There's a guy that the management really likes. So he's probably second in line.
Yep.
And then who's a kid that just came back from injury?
The kid that just came back
came back from injury. They traded him from Ottawa. What was his name again?
Oh, Roby Yarventi.
Yeah, he's probably third.
What?
He's probably third. Go back to that roster. Go back to that roster. That's just my
Seriously,
point.
his knee just blew up and he had it fixed.
Who else are you going to bring up? Petrov. So go back. Petrov's not ready.
No.
Maybe Hamblin.
Maybe
Hamblin.
Lane
But Hamblin's got to a
Peterson.
point where he's become a veteran in the AHL. Okay. Peterson, well, if Peterson was going to be a factor, he'd be there already, and he's been bypassed by Philp. So Seth Griffith doesn't have an opportunity because he is purely
An AHL guy.
Kajula is an AHL guy because they want to give them veteran leadership down on the farm to make sure that you're trying to prepare these guys for the next level. Who else are you going to bring up? So I kind of said it tongue in cheek, but there's some seriousness to it because there's nobody really here.
It's a bad situation. Norman at Combine getting in on the nasty chat. He said if Bryce is passed out, let us know. No, he's still alive.
He's still alive.
Barely.
Hey, guys.
Are you okay? He says he's had one, Norm.
He's good.
Maybe you're wasted, Norm. He just woke up. Oh, boy. We're having too much fun.
Is there an
here.
appetite to go 11-7?
Oh, gross.
I'm just saying. I know Woody loved
Good
it.
question.
I know Knoblauch's
Yeah,
not a big guy, but I mean, they're still going to call up a forward. But do you think they might go 11-7 and just stress Dermott and roll with 7 defensemen?
I mean, I guess they could, but that does not sound enticing to me at all. Bellsy, what do you think?
Yeah.
Because you're probably getting Draisaitl out there a little bit more.
That's honestly all I have.
Sure.
That's all I have.
Yeah, because you're probably getting Draisaitl Nuge out there a little bit more with only 10 forwards. I mean, I'm just grasping at straws here.
What is Nugent-Hopkins done in the 10 games?
He's got 4 points.
He's got 4 points, and
Not
I bet
much.
you all of them are they even on the power play?
I think one of them is.
Yeah, he's got a and Bell,
He's
be honest,
one of the guys that needs to step up for sure.
and I don't know if he can. Like, he's a solid player. Don't get me wrong. He does a lot of things for this team, but if I just don't know if Nuge can elevate his game with the absence of McDavid to where they would need it to run his own line.
Here's a question for you guys.
Okay.
It's just maybe more or less a hypothetical, but do you think that Nugent-Hopkins has been moved around the lineup so much and become such a secondary piece that he actually can't drive his own line?
Has he ever been able to drive his own line? I think he's he's effective when he has good pieces working with him.
Okay, so then you remember the Stanley Cup that Pittsburgh won where they ran Crosby, Malkin, Stahl down the middle?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Why wouldn't you run that down the middle here in Edmonton?
Well, that's what Jay Woodcroft kind of talked about. He had the spine of those three as his centerman.
100%.
But then we saw him move Nugent-Hopkins to wing.
Up, and then you move down, then you move him up, and then you move him down.
Well, you could say the same thing about Adam Henrique now. Is he a third-line center or is he a top 6 guy?
Yeah, Enrique is
Right,
disappeared too. But I'm with Bellsy, or Tommy said it, I don't think Nuge can run his own line. I think he's a
fair.
complementary piece. And there's not taking anything away from him because he's important to this team, but you're not gonna stick two wingers with him and he's gonna lead them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. He's not dragging them with. He's playing off of guys, and if they can play with him and figure him out, then they're effective.
So I'm just playing devil's advocate here. But if you put him against favorable competition, like a third defense pairing, does he not win those matchups?
In theory, he should.
Yeah. Okay.
This year, he's not.
Yeah.
That's a valid point. Let's go to this text. Hey, Nat, so before we get to this text, do we have audio from the locker room yet?
We have Nugent-Hopkins and Coach. So you just let me know where you want to go, and I'll get it ready for you.
Okay, I'm going to get to that. We've got a lot of texts coming in tonight. Keep those coming. The Oilers fall 6-1 to the Columbus Blue Jackets. 1-1 on this 4-game road trip. It continues Thursday night in Nashville. Wraps up against the Flames on Saturday, and then the Oilers return home against the Devils on Monday. Ryan texts in. Ryan says, hey, boys, so far this year, I see a team that thinks they already earned being a contender and thinks it'll come easy. Lack of effort all around. Every team they play against knows where they were last year and is going to play them like it. Effort level needs to come way up. Ryan, that's a great text. Thank you. That was Ryan's first text into our inbox, and we appreciate you very, very much. Okay, let's go and hear from the Oilers. We're going to start with Nugent-Hopkins, who we were just talking about for the last couple of minutes. Then we'll get to Kris Knoblauch. Let's do it.
And maybe what elements of your team were missing beginning in that first period?
I mean, just overall, a lot of battles that we should have won, and they came up with. We know that they're a fast team. They capitalize on little breakdowns, and that's what we saw. Obviously, that first power play goal by them got them going, and then we had some looks. We couldn't find a way to beat their goalie.
When it's an uphill battle after 20 minutes like that, what do you need to see more of from your team at beginning in that second period?
I think just trust that the way that we play is good enough to get it done, even if we're down a couple goals. Just play with the same mindset, just a simple game, play with speed, use each other. We don't need to force things. We don't need to cheat the game. What we do is good enough to win on most nights, and tonight we got away from it a bit and started losing some battles, and they took over.
And how much did you miss the presence of your captain? Of course, just one shift for him.
Yeah, I mean, of course, he was. He's our leader, obviously, and also the best player in the game. So, of course, you're gonna feel it. We gotta do a better job of stepping up when a guy like that goes down, though.
Okay, that was Ryan Nugent-Hopkins following his team's 6-1 loss to the Columbus Blue Jackets. As soon as he talked about not cheating the game, you went like this to me, Bellsy.
Yeah. The Oilers, they cheat the game. They're always trying to break for offense, and that leaves guys in behind their defense. That leaves guys in wide open spots
for nice little light
tap-ins or grade A scoring chances. I would agree they need to stop cheating the game.
It's one thing to say it; it's another to actually go and do it.
If you can buckle down defensively and you win some games 2-1 or 1-0 or whatever, 3-2 for that matter, maybe you can build upon your game. But when you consistently cheat and you give up those chances, like most of these goaltenders in the league are gonna have a tough one.
All right, Nat, so anything about Nugent's comments there that you want to hit on, or do you want to move on to Kris Knoblauch?
Yeah, it's just same old, same old. I mean, yeah, the first goal really got us on our heels and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. Again, like, I wish you would see some anger. And, yeah, they look upset and all that, but there's no anger there. There's,
why? He's getting bottle service tonight.
We can go to the head coach now.
I'm sorry.
Oh boy! Here's Kris Knoblauch following his team's 6-1 loss to the Blue Jackets tonight.
They go just 2:48 into this one. Did it feel like an uphill battle all night?
It did. We, I thought we were ready to go, and we gave up early penalty kill goal. Starts with guy loses an edge, takes out the goalie, and they call the penalty, and. And then they get an early one on us on the penalty kill, and I think it was a little deflating for our team. And, it just seemed like the mistakes that we made went in the net. And not that blaming Stewie, because there wasn't much opportunity to save those. But, that first goal against was a tough one.
Do you have an update on your captain?
I don't. He's going to go back to Edmonton. He's going to get evaluated, and I'll have something later tomorrow.
Give us an idea of what that feel is like on the bench when you lose your captain on the first shift of the game and then are without him the remainder?
Well, your captain, your best player, and sometimes it should be an opportunity for guys to step up and say, "Oh, I got this, just more ice time, more opportunity," and I don't know. I think, it's tough, anytime playing without your best player, but something that we're going to have to hopefully short term and. Find a way to, obviously our team's going to look different. But like I said, maybe that's 1-2 games. I'm not sure.
Will you now spend the next couple of days just sort of figuring out who might be the person that gets recalled from the minors?
Obviously, Stan being here, we've discussed it, and, we'll make that decision either tonight or tomorrow about who's coming up to replace.
Kris, obviously we know Stuart Skinner's a proud guy, and you just mentioned that your team needed to be better in front of him. What's that conversation like to make sure he is where he needs to be the next time he gets a tap?
Yeah, tonight it doesn't matter. Like, we only scored one goal, which came in the dying seconds of the game. So no matter how well he played, we're likely not winning this game. So that's not on him at all.
Okay, there was Kris Knoblauch, head coach of the Oilers. Yeah, you got a bit of an update on Connor McDavid. says he's going back to Edmonton, and then mentioned, whether he misses 1 or 2 games. Listen, it's early. To me, that sounds optimistic. When a guy has to fly back and leave a trip, that's a bad sign.
Yeah, it's not usually a very good sign at all.
It's a bad sign.
Yeah.
We'll see. He'll be reevaluated here. The doctors and the Oilers medical team will take a look at him. He's in good hands, some of the best in the world. And then we'll probably get information when the team returns home from this 4-game road trip. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. It is the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show live on location at Boston Pizza Westgate. We're back at Hudson's on November 21st. The Boston Pizza here has the golf simulator. You can see it over this shoulder. $20 an hour is the rate. You'll see it on the screen. You'll see the QR code, and when you can scan that can book your tee time here at BP. And then the other thing they have going on, too, is the kids' Halloween party on Thursday, Bellsy, from 3 to 6. So if you've got some kidlings and you want to book a session here, get the fuzzy worm drink, and then there's a coloring contest, there's face painting, all the stuff that Joaquin Gage loves to do.
Is Joaquin still there?
No,
he's not. Yeah.
He's out. He's laughing. He's like the doctor comment, and then he also made a diagnosis that we're not going to read on the air for Connor McDavid. We'll leave that be for the real doctors, not the ones that think they're doctors and play one on a radio show. Okay, guys, any other texts you want to get to? We've been going for over an hour here. Troll says, maybe I'm wrong, but the young guys on this team never learned how to play the right way. They didn't have any good veterans around to teach them the way of things like Dallas has, for example. I understand that sentiment, Troll, but they did go to the Cup final. They did win 3 games in the Cup final, and I think that kind of, in my opinion, quashes some of that thought and rhetoric, but for it to creep up, I feel it's probably natural.
Yeah, I don't even know the words that I want to get out, but you do go to the Cup final. You've learned lessons over the last 4 or 5 years about how to win, what it's going to take to ultimately, get the goal that you want, win the Stanley Cup. Those are lessons that you saw, and I personally think that Florida gave them a lesson.
Yeah,
and Florida plays a specific way. It is hard. It's in your face. It is relentless, and it's physical. And they're a skilled hockey team. They are a skilled hockey team.
I don't know if I've asked you this, Bellsy, but how many? There's no more lessons for this team.
But this is where I was getting to it.
Okay, sorry.
And I was just going to say that we're at a point now where you have learned everything in terms of what it's going to take. So at some point, you got to now go out there and say, okay, I've learned my lessons. We're going to come out. And teams that lose in finals, all they want to do is they want to go out and they want to just get back to it, and they want to kick the blank out of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
This weather team doesn't look like they want to kick the blank out of anybody.
I think that's fair.
Bellsy, can I ask you something on that? Does that lie with the leadership group? Because they're the voices. They're the ones that...
Well, at the end of the day, Hernan, since this McDavid era started, we've always had the same conversation. They start slow. And they've always, for whatever reason, tried to bring in veteran players that have a little bit of fire, a.k.a. Perry, a.k.a. Hendricks, a.k.a. That's why they never wanted to get rid of Hendricks, a.k.a. Mike Smith. That's why they brought him in an extra year. They wanted to get rid of him. Duncan Keith, leadership.
Yeah.
These guys all have a little bit of fire. And so to me, it seems as if maybe they need a little bit more. Maybe it is the leadership group. But I do personally feel that Connor McDavid is the best hockey player in the world, and all he needs is one chance, and it's going to go in the back of the net. And that's kind of the mentality that they carry, is that no matter how the game goes, no matter how they feel, we're one shot away from getting back into it because we have Connor McDavid or we have Leon Draisaitl. It's not, we're going to go kick the absolute brakes off of you, and it's going to be contagious through the entire lineup.
Yeah.
You don't see that.
You know what's interesting, and I was thinking this as you were answering that, Bellsy. Have we not ask these questions year in, year out, multiple times about this group?
Year.
And then have we not witnessed whatever management team and coaching staff is running this organization answer those questions by going out and getting different players? But then we find ourselves in this perpetual loop.
Yep.
Like, what you just answered, I'm sitting there going, I'm like, I've heard this like 3 or 4 times.
Yep.
I've heard it. And in the last like 5 or 6 years. Because the last coach had it.
Yeah. We
Coach
can play
before
a
had
post-game
it.
show from any of the last 5 years, Tom, and I guarantee
the
you
exact same
50% of
conversation.
it is having the same conversation.
So here, I'll do one better for you guys then.
Okay, go.
Okay, well, what's the Oilers' identity?
Ooh.
Hot dogs.
No, like, let's be honest.
I'm serious. Like,
hot dogs?
no, not
like Phil the Thrill Kessel hot dogs?
no, like they're hot dogs because they know they're good.
Oh,
and
okay.
they've earned that confidence.
Yeah, but that's not really their team identity. So if
that's a cheap shot. I apologize, but
so if you're gonna throw this out and you're talking to somebody that was brand new to Canada and you're like, the Edmonton Oilers are this, what would it be?
super skilled, and they let you down at the most unexpected times.
Woof. That's tough.
I'd say skilled, but it's not like in the NHL. If you just bring skill, Bellsy, like you have to put in an effort. You have to worry about the details. But and you just said it. This team thinks, well, we got enough skill. We'll get out of this. Don't worry about it. It's only game 10. And I think that's wrong. And you never hear with this team their identity are hardworking or they're an urgent bunch. They play with passion. It's not that. At times it is, but I mean, when they were down 3-0 to the Florida Panthers, they showed a lot of that. But usually, it's just they're a skilled team that relies too much on it.
So, I really dislike this human being. His name's Kevin Constantine, but he had this little line that he's famous for, and it's will beats skill unless skill works. So I got no issues if the Oilers want their identity to be pure skill. I got zero issues with that.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's going to be pure skill, then there's got to be an element of compete and work. Because if you have that compete and that work ethic,
Yes.
then your skill can shine and you're probably going to beat a few teams. I don't need them to be the Florida Panthers where it's just I'm going to destroy your defensemen until you turn over the puck and then I'm going to put it in the net. I don't need you to be the Vegas Golden Knights where we're just sequoia trees on the back end and, we turn pucks over because we take away time and space. If you want to be skilled, that's fine to me.
Okay.
That's fine. But you have to work. End of story.
That. Yeah.
You have to. And then right now, unfortunately, and this is why all the other fans are pissed, and this is why all the media right now are consistently talking about it, is that this team, once again, has all the skill in the world.
Yes.
And the least we can do is just come out and work, guys. And I feel like that would probably take the gas off a lot of fires.
I think fans and media and the coaching staff could live with it, Bellsy. You're right. If you saw the hard work, the will, right? Like if they're out there crashing in the net, they're just going through it for their teammates no matter what. But you didn't see that tonight.
No. Sarah says it in the nasty chat. No passion, no sparks. LOL. And then I saw this one I want to get to in the inbox from Troll. Arrogance, lazy defense, good power play, other than this year. That's how Troll would describe the Edmonton Oilers to somebody who might not know hockey or like the situation you described.
That's a legitimate problem.
Yeah.
And that's not the first person to say that either.
No, and that's
a legitimate problem to me. So if you want to be skilled, then be skilled. Got nothing wrong with that. But there takes something that goes along with that skill.
Yeah. Okay. It's been a passionate show. A lot of hot takes. Great texts. We heard from the Oilers. McDavid on his way back to Edmonton after suffering a left leg injury today. Kris Knoblauch didn't want to put a timeline on it. He said, well, we'll see. Maybe he's 1 game, 2 games, but he's definitely not going to rejoin the team on this trip. I'll tell you that much, unless by some miracle he's good to go in Calgary by the weekend. So we'll assume he's not ready to go till at least next week. They'll have to do it without him on Thursday in Nashville. That's not good. They get absolutely destroyed by Columbus tonight, and their woes against the Jackets continue. So we look to Thursday's game. How do they bounce back? Hernan, will start to you. What are you looking for and anticipating from the Edmonton Oilers against the Predators in Nashville on Thursday?
I just want to see some urgency, some passion, some give a crap. That meter's got to be at an all-time high. It's game 11. You're going to be without your captain. There better be some oomph in that game. There better be something. You better be ready to go. You can't roll your way into that game, and that's going to say a lot. I am very intrigued to see how this team comes out on Thursday without their captain, and we'll go from there, guys. But Nashville's playing better. They lost in OT tonight to the Tampa Bay Lightning, so that's going to be a feisty bunch. Like it seems every time the Oilers are playing a team, they're coming off a loss, so they're always going to get the other team's best, not just because of that, but because of who they are. So I'm intrigued to see the Oilers' response, especially without Captain Connor McDavid.
Belsey, give us the players' point of view as they look to dust themselves off on Thursday.
Yeah, the players' point of view is that you got to, get rid of this game as quickly as you possibly can. You're going to watch some video. You're going to try to figure out your mistakes, and then you're going to try to have a better game.
The Oilers,
you're going to get hammered and play guilty.
4-5-1 is their record through the first 10 games of the season. If you want a silver lining, it's much better than the first 10 games last year where they were an absolute disaster. So you got that going for you, Oilers fans. We'll see if they can bounce back on Thursday against those Nashville Predators. We'll have the GCL Diesel pre- and post-game show for you as the Oil get absolutely dominated by the Columbus Blue Jackets. 6 p.m. puck drop on Thursday. We'll be on the air at 5 o'clock for the GCL Diesel pregame show. We had a great time despite the Oilers game right here at Boston Pizza Westgate. Huge thank you to Tony and the entire crew. Faith, who was helping us out. Marasia, who is here. Absolutely tremendous. A huge thank you to all the nasties who showed up, the new ones that got to know EST. It's going to be a lot of fun here at BP Westgate this year. They've got their Halloween party for the kids on Thursday, 3 to 6. If you want to get in on that, bring the kiddos out. It is 780-481-6822. Call to book your reservation. Face painting, polka ghost, coloring contest, fuzzy worm slush. Belsey wants one of those for sure. All right, that's going to do it for the post-game show. Big thank you to GCL Diesel for being our presenting sponsor. For Hernan Salas and Shawn Belle, I'm Tom Gazzola saying thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We will talk to you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your night. Ciao, ciao.